once I broke the record, like I didn't even know I broke the record until after the game was even over. Like the coach came up to me, and was like, "You just broke the record." I was like, "Damn!" Like I was just shocked.
Welcome back to True Gem TV, where we are highlighting athletes from the Dayton area. Today, we are joined by a very special guest. He is a graduate of Sydney High School 2025, and he holds the records for most threes in a game at Sydney. He's an incoming freshman to Edison State. Today, we have Azon Steele.
What's up, Nick?
What's going on, man? Thanks for coming on the show and joining us here today. Really excited for the episode today. So I'll get into it, man. Obviously you had a really good career at Sydney, not just a senior year. You put together a lot of really good performances. I was able to, see some of your performances live, and I've seen the way you work. What's it like for you to kind of be the guy at a school like that and kind of be able to, obviously you had great teammates around you, but to kind of be able to sometimes, if your team needs to put the team on your back?
So, with Sydney, playing at Sydney, it was like I was always in the gym. Like, almost every single day I was in the gym. I was working on my game. So it was, kind of different from my freshman year, because my freshman year, it was okay before I transferred when I was at Lehman Catholic in Sydney, too. But when I really transferred and, I started playing for a coach that really seen my potential, and he seen the work I was putting in, and he really gave me, the green light, because he could trust me, because he seen the work that I was getting in all the time. He could trust me in those moments to put the team on my back when it was needed, because we did have some really good players that were surrounding me. We had another good guard and another really good shooter, and kind of could play off of them. And even though I played the two, it was really I led the league in assists, because it was just easy to play off of my teammates, and I didn't even play the point guard position.
Yeah, and I even kind of think of you as a point guard, just for the way, you're saying there, the way that you are able to facilitate the ball, and you're not, you're a lot more of an on-ball type of player a lot of the times too.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about this game here, where you had the 8 threes on 52.8% from the line, or from the 3-point line, and 30 points. I mean, what was that game like for you? Were you just feeling it? Did you kind of know going into the game that it was going to be a good night for you, or is it kind of just happen like that?
So I think it really was I'm not going to lie, that was definitely a game I was really locked in, because it's, going into senior year, it's first home game of the season. I've been working all summer. I'm ready to get to it, So we got in the game, and I think it was maybe the first quarter. The first quarter I finished with 14 points. And that's when I really knew that when I looked up, it was as soon as the quarter was over, I looked up and I had 14. And I was like, oh yeah. I thought I was going to score more than 30. I'm not going to lie, but I ended up getting pulled early. But once I broke the record, I didn't even know I broke the record until after the game was even over. The coach came up to me and was like, you just broke the record. I was like, damn, I was just shocked. But it was definitely because first home game, senior year, it was just a different kind of feeling. I just wanted to take advantage of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's kind of, senior year, that's what you want to do, right? You want to come out there and make a statement. So, a great career at Sydney for you. Now you're taking your talents to Edison State. What are you looking forward to for, next year and beyond? And, what about the JUCO route kind of appeals to you?
Well, the JUCO route is I feel like it's kind of a safer route too, rather than going a Division 3 or 2, because going 3 or 2, you're not allowed to get 3, you're not allowed to get full rides, you're not allowed to get sports scholarships. So JUCO is kind of I feel the route for me. I wouldn't say it's the perfect route for everyone, but definitely for me, it was I think it was the best route to take. And, going into college and JUCO, I know it's we actually just got back from Michigan this past weekend, and we played 7 games up there against a couple other college teams. And I'll definitely say the pace is a lot different and the game's a lot more physical and it's a lot faster. You got to adapt to things like the shot clock. There's no 5-second call when you're drilling the ball. There's like just a lot of different things you got to adjust to. Longer 3-point line. And for me, like being a guard, I was a 2 guard at Sydney in high school, but now I have to learn to be the point guard in college because a lot of guys are taller and bigger than me.
Yeah. And what's that like having to kind of, not a huge transition for you because like I said, you kind of, you kind of had the skills of a point guard, but being a shorter player, like what are the challenges that presents to you where maybe naturally you kind of do play like a 2 guard, but now, just because of, your height and just how, other guys are taller, like does that motivate you more?
It definitely motivates me to work more because, like, being a shorter guard, I know that I have to be able to do everything on the court if I want to get to the next level. Because, like, there's taller guys, like, at the Division I level, like, all they have to do, all they have to do is be able to, some guys just have to be able to shoot threes and play defense. Some guys just have to be able to rebound and, be able to be a force in the post. Like, me, being my size, like, I have to be able to do everything on the court.
Yeah. And then, that's a tough challenge, obviously, for you. But so since we're speaking of point guards here, so I want to switch gears a little bit with you. And I want to have you blind rank some NBA point guards. So I'm sure you've seen this before. You know how this works. So first off, the first point guard I'm going to give you is De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah. So if I had to blind rank De'Aaron Fox, are we ranking them like top 5 or?
Yeah, 1 through 5. Yep.
1 through 5. De'Aaron Fox, I would say, I've watched a lot of De'Aaron Fox. One of the faster players, but still kind of a taller guard, but not too tall. Well, when you get to the NBA, at least,
yeah,
there's really
it's like 6'3" or so.
But De'Aaron Fox's game, like, just really explosive. Like, if I was to watch his game, I'd really study, like, his mid-range, like, his first step and the way he gets to his shots. And, like, he just really makes the game easier for himself.
Yeah. So where would you put him on, like, 1 through 5?
1 through 5, I'd probably put him 5.
5? Okay. All right. I got another guy here for you. We have Ja Morant.
Ooh. Okay, so definitely way more explosive than De'Aaron Fox. I wouldn't say faster, but definitely vertically, probably more gifted and more explosive. He gets, he really, when watching Ja Morant, he really gets to his spots. And because, he's not really too much of a shooter. He likes to get, in the mid-range area. He shoots a lot of floaters. He gets to the cup and he makes, he's driving and he's making the defense collapse so he can kick and create for his teammates. I'd definitely put Ja Morant up there, probably. I'd put Ja Morant at 3.
3? Sure. Okay. All right. Next guy I got here is Darius Garland, local Ohio team up there in Cleveland.
Garland, that's definitely like a guy I watch a lot. Darius Garland, definitely someone I study, especially him being a shorter guard out of the ones you've named before. Darius Garland really like that's a prime example of having to be able to do everything on the court so that you can stay on the court and get to the next level. Darius Garland knows how to he's really good at utilizing his teammates and playing off of them. He really gets to the rim. Darius Garland gets whatever he wants, in my opinion. Like, he can shoot, get to the midi, get to the pull up, he can get to the floater, he can get to the rim. But definitely, I feel like a guy that doesn't get enough respect.
Yeah.
But I definitely put Darius Garland at 2.
2? Okay. All right, so next here I got Jalen Brunson. He had a good year this year, but,
Yeah, I'm definitely putting Jalen Brunson at my 1.
At the
Jalen
1,
Brunson's
okay.
definitely Jalen Brunson, I feel like, because he's definitely, he might be, definitely one of the shortest guards in the league. I don't know if he's the shortest.
Yeah.
But he's definitely up.
He's maybe 6 foot, Brunson, but, yeah.
Yeah, I think this year, watching Jalen Brunson a lot, especially in the playoffs, because that's when I really, tap into the NBA a lot. Watching him in the playoffs was, it's just crazy, because, he's, a lot of guys, when you're shorter, they expect you to, shy away from contact and things like that. But, Jalen Brunson's really, he's trying to bump you, in the post and shoot 1-foot fadeaways. And, he's, a bigger guard in a smaller guard's body. But he's able to still do those things with his skill level.
Yeah, no, I mean, he definitely does play bigger than his body for sure. Like he's got a little weight on him, but he ain't got the height, and but he creates space, which is really good to watch. All right, so the last guy we got, this will be at your 4 spot, you know, which he's getting older, so it's okay. But we got Steph Curry, one of the greatest of all time. But at the 4, I mean, hey, he's getting older, man, and I don't hate the list. Obviously, Curry is Curry.
Definitely, Curry is obviously Curry, but that's just somebody like he puts in and values so much work that like it shows so much in the game when he plays. Like that's just a guy like I don't even know how to describe his like play style because Curry isn't really like Curry's a guard, he's a point guard, but Curry creates a lot for himself because of all the hard work he puts in. Like Curry can get to literally absolutely anything he wants on the court. Like
Yeah.
if he wants to create for other people, he can. If he wants to go for 40, he can. But like Curry's definitely one of those guys that like you just can't do anything with.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I don't know. It's between him and Magic for the greatest point guard of all time.
Yeah,
Um, but okay, so kind of like on that same tune there, like I want to ask you, and you kind of did touch on it a little bit, but like, is there any like players that you'll watch, like whether it's college players, whether it's NBA players, whoever, local guys that you see in the gym. Is there anybody that you specifically watch or watch film of and try to model your game after?
I'll definitely say there's actually two guys, but I will say my number one guy. Well, I'll say my number two first, Tyrese Maxey. I think that's really one of the most slept on guards in the league. Like definitely
Yeah.
watching his game, making it easier for me to score and stuff. Like just a really like high paced guard. Always going 110% everything he does. But my number one for sure, like all around player, like my favorite player to watch is Tremont Waters. I know a lot of guys like might not know who that is, but point guard went to LSU, played in the league a little bit,
Played.
then went to
I'm a Celtics fan. He played on the Celtics, so I'm very familiar with his game.
Tremont Waters he's that guy.
Yeah. No, that's good you mentioned that too, because like you said, he's a shorter guy. You see how he creates his space, gets his shot off, and that's I can see how that's good inspiration for you.
Yeah, because like really watching him, especially like him being like the same exact same height as me and everything, like
Yeah.
he's explosive. He knows how to like. He has the ball on the string. He can shoot. He's a pest on defense. Like definitely, like if anybody asked me who's the first person I'm going to watch, it's Draymond Waters.
Yeah. That's awesome to hear. That's not a name I expected, but it makes complete
Yeah,
sense. Um, so I kind of want to ask you now, since you're gonna be starting your collegiate career, and obviously you guys have already had some scrimmages and stuff. You kind of already getting your feet wet, like you said. What's it like to get a whole new group of guys that you've never played with before? Like, is it hard to build that chemistry? I mean, or are you guys in the process of doing that now? And just what's the challenges of that?
I will say like going into the season, I was kind of worried about it. Like restarting with like a new team and stuff. Like I'm very familiar with a lot of the guys on the team before, but I've never played with them like on the same team. But I will say after like the practices we've been having for the past couple weeks before we went to Michigan, after going to Michigan, I feel like we all really bond together and we really play well, like well off of each other. But I will say it's definitely not that. It's definitely not that hard. It's not as hard as I expected it to be. Like we really all get along. Like I love my team, the guys that I have, like bonding on and off the court. We have fun off the court. Like we lose together, we win together. Like a lot of the guys on the team, I feel like on the collegiate level, because like the collegiate level, everyone can play. And every time, like it's a little different than it was in high school. Like going in the gym, nobody else was in there. Maybe one other guy, but like going into the gym at Edison, like everybody's in there putting in work on their own, and, like on their own. Like, and it's just really good having guys to surround myself with that want the same thing as me.
Yeah, and that's got to be motivating for you too to have other guys, in the gym working, because I know, like I said, I know that you work, very hard and you work a lot, but yeah, to see yourself kind of compare, like, oh, these guys also do, are the same as me. Like, are you like motivated to kind of like not exactly a competition, but like you're like, hey, this guy's been in the gym, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'll take a day off or something. Like, is that motivating you to like keep going?
It definitely motivates me because I seen him in the gym. I'm like, okay, so coach is gonna see like he's in the gym more than me, or he's putting in more work, so he's gonna trust him more. But like seeing them in the gym definitely pushes me more. when I want to take a day off or something, and I see them in the gym, like they're in there every day. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get in there. Like I can't get left behind, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's I think that's a good thing to have, obviously, right? Like that's what you want to have when you go into a new culture, with new guys. So another question I have for you here, and this is kind of a loaded question, so don't think too much on it. It's kind of a generic question, but I just want to ask it to you because you're encroaching on this like new chapter. So basically, like where do you see yourself after your collegiate career? Like what do you see yourself doing, or maybe what's your goal? Um, after your collegiate career here.
Definitely, there's like a few things that I have in mind for after my collegiate career. You know, there's school, obviously, after school, becoming a physical trainer to go be a trainer like a school or something, or I definitely say a coach or even a basketball trainer because, Xander Smart, like working out with Xander Smart, like, I don't know, he just really I really like the way, like, he's able to, like, work with people on, like, their craft, but also getting to know them and build a bond with them, like, personally. And I feel like it carries on and off the court, and that's really something I'll do, like, really think I could see myself doing. But definitely that, coaching, physical trainer, or maybe even playing overseas if I get the chance or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's good you bring up Xander because like I think one of the things about him that is so cool is he can work with a kid who's in third grade that barely knows how to dribble, and he can work with guys that are pros, like high level pros, like
Yeah.
damn near NBA players or NBA players. And I think that's really cool to see. And I know you've seen like just how he can be versatile with that. So yeah, no, that's good. And so I want to ask you too, like you said, physical trainer, coach, like you just, is that something you want to do? You just want to stay around the game and just
Yeah.
keep evolving your basketball knowledge and stuff. Like, that's important to you?
Yeah, I definitely want to be able to, like, stay around the game because I love it so much, and being able to pass off the knowledge that I learned throughout my career and giving it to others.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's see. I got one more question for you here, and I've asked this question to a few of the other guys that I've had on. So, what is like a piece of advice that you would have for some younger athletes in the area that may be listening that can get them to kind of the level that you're at right now, like being able to play in college, like you said, is a tremendously hard thing to do. Everybody that plays in college is amazing. So like, what's the advice that you would give some kids to kind of get to that level?
My advice would definitely be, working on your game as much as possible, obviously. But at a young age, like, I feel like, because I've been to, like, a lot of younger, like, games and stuff, like, I've seen younger kids, like, I've seen the environment. I definitely wouldn't listen too much about too much of the outside noise, like, what parents and people have to say, like, at a young age. Like, definitely staying on track, and, once you, like, all the way through high school, making it to high school, like, a lot of the stuff at a young age, like, matters, except besides like rankings and stuff. But, like, definitely, like, I feel like just play basketball, like keep working and everything, and like everything will work itself out. But don't listen to the outside noise because I know, like, parents will, how parents are and stuff like that, like hype their kid up to be this and that, and then, like, in the future their kid doesn't even play basketball anymore or things like that. Like, it's just, I definitely would say be who you want to be, and if you want to be, like, play on the next level growing up, definitely just stick to it. Just definitely stay on the right path because I've seen a lot of guys, even my own friends, go down the wrong path, and I'd hate to see that happen to anybody else.
Yeah, and I will ask you this too, since you are still like obviously you're older, but
Yeah.
also you probably dealt with a lot of this. I mean, does the social media like not even the fact of like what people can talk or whatever, just social media in general is just like so like through college or like through high school and stuff, like is that hard to like you said kind of block out the noise because like anytime you go on your phone you're on social media or like you're seeing like highlights of other guys and like you know, like comparing yourself to others and stuff and kind of getting down on yourself? Like, is that a hard thing to navigate?
I feel like sometimes for some people, I feel like it's different. Like I feel like it can be corrupting. It can really make you get down on yourself. But for some, like a lot of other people, I can feel like they see it and like okay, like this guy's like they're posting, oh, this is a 5 star. He's getting this. He's getting these offers. He's getting this amount of money. Like, and a lot of guys see it and they're like, oh, I can play with this guy, or oh, I can be better than this guy, or I am better than this guy, and it makes them like want to work even harder to get out there and prove that to everybody else.
Yeah. Well, no, definitely it can be double-sided there, right? Like it can give you extra
Yeah,
motivation. So I think it just depends on how you look at it and how you you know, respond to things like that. Well, Azon, I appreciate it, man. I think I appreciate you coming on, and I hope that you have a lot more success here, working on the off season and getting ready for the season. I hope you guys have a great season. I will say too, is there anything you want to shout out, whether Instagram or anything else?
Um, if there's anybody I had to shout out, like we mentioned earlier, definitely just Xander Smart. Definitely, because that guy took my game to a whole another level. Like working with him for like the past 4, almost 5 years, definitely somebody that I'll look into, and definitely somebody that I feel like you could trust to elevate your game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree from seeing with him. So I yeah, completely agree with that. But yeah, Azon, I appreciate it, and best of luck this season.
Sure. Thank you for having me.